Every Jumu'ah, I plan for myself that inshallah next Jumu'ah, I will speak about this topic. And then when that Jumu'ah comes and a day or two before or as the week progresses, I realize that I can't just speak about this one topic. I have to speak about many topics. Because a Muslim is one that has his and her eyes open and is concerned about his and her well-being and of his household and of his community, of his locality, of his nation and his population also. So we are concerned, yes, very much so, about the knife crime rise and the attacks on civilians and on innocent people and random attacks in Tower Hamlets. And it's very, very worrying for lots of parents, lots of teachers, lots of institutions. And we call upon everybody that has any influence, any ability to stop this vicious wave of crime and fear that's in the hearts of youngsters and people alike, that this needs to come to an end. This needs to stop. Whatever needs to be done must be done, because there has been repetitive attacks even in the past week within our borough, and this is a huge percentage of Muslims in this borough. And as we've said last week, young people, our youth, we've not been sent for this. We can do better than this. We have better examples than to be criminals, than to be thugs, than to be involved. I'm not saying we're all criminals. I am saying that whatever it is, both ways, attacking or getting attacked, this needs to stop. This is very scary and it has to be brought to an end. And we need to keep up to date with the police and the council and the borough and the councillors on what can be done in order to bring this to an abrupt and a very fast and a quick end, inshallah. May Allah give us all tawfiq and ability. The next issue that I must touch upon is our sister Sabina Nessa. Now you'll say to me, well, she was going to a pub and she was perhaps not so practicing and she was perhaps not wearing a hijab. But this, my friends, is not how we think about it. We are concerned and we raise our voices for her murder, and that her murderer and the perpetrators or perpetrator be brought to justice. She was a victim regardless of her sins. Her sins are a separate issue. That's not what we're campaigning or raising our voices for. She was a victim. That's what matters. That's what's important. That's what we need to focus on. And the reason why I raise this is because within a lot of our communities we have something that's called victim blaming. Victim blaming, where somebody is the victim and the victim gets the blame. Then why did you do this? It's your fault. And we don't think about who were the perpetrators, who were the criminals. An example, there are so many examples, but an example, even like for example as children, a lot of the times, for example, if I'm hurt, then it will be told to me, it's your fault, why did you do this? A lot of the times it is, but a lot of the times it's not. But the point being is, the victim is the victim and the criminal and the perpetrator is the perpetrator. A similar thing happens with us, for example, the colonized nations. If we say, for example, the British Raj colonized India, a lot of people will nowadays normally quite, as if it's okay to say, they will say, well, that's because they were able to. Tara farse, they were able to. And so they done. This again is victim blaming. This is not allowed. This is not what we do. And so yes, we are concerned, and justice should be brought for every victim, regardless of who they are and where they are. As human beings, we have rights, and those should not be violated at all. So yes, we're concerned, and things should be done and will be done in order to make sure that the perpetrator and the murderer is brought to justice. Another issue that concerns us is what's the ongoing persecution of the civilians of Assam in India. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I've seen a very disturbing footage of a person, a villager, a helpless person was killed in cold blood. And then while he's dead, he's killed, he's finished, blood is all over his face, we see a reporter with camera strapped around his neck going and punching him on his face. He's already dead. The level of evil and just pure violence is just disturbing, it's heartbreaking. And this is happening to thousands of people. This concerns us just like it should concern Mr. Modi and the Indian government and all of those who have some sort of influence. It concerns the United Nations. This has to stop. So just like we raised our voice for the persecution against the Palestinians, we raise our voice once again for the persecution against the people of Assam. And as we've done before for the people of Kashmir, because it's all the same. It's all dhulm is dhulm. Oppression is oppression, wherever it is, whether it's in my house, in my street, or somewhere abroad, we are worried about it all. Allah says in the Quran, كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ لِلَّهِ شُهَدَاءَ بِالْقِسْطِ. Stand up, remain upright, and remain standing up for justice, even if it's against yourself or against others. This is all very, very important. There is a nationwide initiative today to raise awareness about the climate and about the environment, and this is something that's very, very concerning as well, because this is, like I said in the Bangla Nasiha, that our Islam, we say all of the time, right, Islam is a comprehensive religion. But then we don't always see the examples, we don't always see how it's practiced, but these are situations when you see clearly, wow, Islam truly is a comprehensive religion. Because just like Islam is worried about people's iman, believe in Allah, believe in the Rasul, believe in the angels, believe in what you need to believe in order to be successful in this dunya and the akhirah, Islam is very concerned about this, and that's the core beliefs. Islam is also very concerned about how we do our actions, what our a'mal are. So Islam says pray salah, give zakat, go to hajj, do sawm. These are bodily actions, a'mal. But then Islam also talks about something called adab and mu'asharat, and your behavior and your character towards others. It's very interesting, we've said this before as well, it's very interesting that the Prophet ﷺ says in a hadith that innama, in Arabic the word innama is lil hasri wa lil qasr, means this is the only reason. So we say innama al-a'malu bin niyat. Actions are only based on their intentions. And so, or actions are based on their intentions. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that I have been sent but to perfect character. I have been sent for the sole purpose of perfecting character. Aisha radiallahu anha is asked about the character of the Prophet ﷺ. She says, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. His behavior was the Qur'an. Behavior is how you interact with others around you. Behavior is how we interact with other species around us, animals, plants, and the entire ecosystem. This concerns behavior. Because Islam says, Quran says, that you are a vicegerent, you're a khalifa. You're not just a human being that eats, drinks, sleeps, and snoozes and repeats. No. You're more than that. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا. Did you think that Allah made you for no purpose? That's not possible. Because Allah is Hakim and Alim, He's wise. He shows us His wisdom and His meticulous and perfect knowledge. His Latif and Khabir. We see this in His creation. How He's made the brain and the mind and the heart and the sun and the moon and the plants, and how everything works in a synchronized, in a cooperative manner. All of this is indicating Allah knows, Allah knows, Allah's wise, Allah's wise. And then all of a sudden Allah's going to make all of us for no purpose. That's unwise. So therefore it's not possible that Allah made us for no purpose. There's a purpose. So it's not just eat, drink, sleep and snooze and repeat. No, there's more to us than just that. We're supposed to believe, we're supposed to do our ibadat, we're also supposed to be concerned about our mu'asharat, our sulukiyat, our adab and akhlaq, how we interact with our environment and those around us. It's a broad topic. We'll talk a little bit because it's important. So for example, one of the key issues is how we spend, how we live has an impact on our society, in our environment, in our ecosystem. Did you know today, according to scientists, that just as much as fish there is in the ocean, there is also that much plastic in the ocean? There is also a statement that just as much as there are stars in our galaxy, i.e. the Milky Way, there is also that much plastic in the ocean. You're thinking, so what? Well, plastic is dangerous. If a fish eats plastic, it may die. We can't eat plastic. We die also. And plastic does not, you can only recycle it. It does not decay like that. Paper, you'd get soft, it's biodegradable if you like. But as for plastic, it does not decay like that. So whether it goes into the sea, ocean, or the soil, or the ground, it's dangerous. And the mas'uliyah of caring and worrying and trying to do something positive to have a positive impact on our society is on on the leader of creation. Allah says that you have been made in the best of creation, that we are, ashraful makhluqat, the most honorable of creation. And so we have a responsibility, because honor doesn't come without responsibility, does it? Honor comes with responsibility. A president, prime minister is honored, respected, because he or she has responsibilities. Just like a father and an imam and a mother and all of those who have some sort of authority or responsibility, they have respect. And so our honor in Allah's khalq and Allah's creation is because we're supposed to be responsible. We need to be educating ourselves about renewable energy, about recycling, about these kind of things which affect our environment in a negative way. It's a long discussion, but it's an emergency. Now I will say this also because I don't like to be one-sided. Just like the governments and the leaders advise and lecture us, and we accept that also, that you should be careful about how you spend and your carbon footprint and recycling and all of these things. The advice is also to you, O leadership. In the name of war on terror, the amount of bombing that took place, are you telling me that never had no effect on the environment? Of course, on human lives and people's livelihoods, and countries and cities and towns are destroyed, but has it had no effect on pollution? Of course it has. The fighter jets that you fly, all of these very high speed and high tech war machines, these are also a huge catastrophe to the environment, just like it is to human life and human livelihoods. And while we are supposed to be taking care of our environment, we have billionaires planning day trips to space. Billionaires planning day trips to space. How much pollution does a rocket cause? This is very basic, this is common sense, you'd think. But common sense is not always so common, you find. So yes, we take an initiative. We are to take steps. We are supposed to be wise, and we do things the right way. But we also expect it from others. Oppression is not acceptable in Islam, and we won't stand for oppression. We will stand for justice wherever it may be. May Allah give us al-tawfiq wa aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum.